Right, so now moving to the Waipuna Halswell-Hornby-Riccarton Community Board and Chairperson Mike Mora. Mike, thank you for joining us. Welcome to the table.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to come and let you know what's happened post-COVID, and we do appreciate the fact that we're in different times and we've got to review everything. So we appreciate the work that the council's already done on the draft revised annual plan. So it's been very, very difficult for you, and just really appreciate the work that's gone on so far. So our submission, I'm not going to read it, but the Hornby Centre, of course, is our priority. We've been waiting for that for a long time, and we think it should be underway now, to be honest. But anyway, we just don't want any hold up in that. So we would really appreciate the support of if the councillors around the table to say, hey, listen, we've been wanting this for many, many years, and it's shovel ready, let's do it. Bradshaw Terrace is a small, I don't want to dwell on this too much longer either, but it's just a small remnant of some work that was done in Riccarton back in the days, really, of the just about the swap over from amalgamation when some streets were upgraded, but this section of Bradshaw Terrace hasn't been done. So it's something that we've been going on about as a board for quite a number of years. You'll see the comments that we've made when you read our submission about it, so I don't want to dwell on that much, other than it's something that our submissions committee felt that we should draw to your attention again. And the major cycle routes, we're pleased that that's planned and underway, but we've got some alarm bells ringing in some parts of it, and we just want to say, let's talk about this, let's sort it out so that once it's done right. And since we had the on-site meeting, there's been some other information that's came forward as well about property in that Gilberthorpe's Waterloo Parker Street intersection that I've alerted staff to say, hey, listen, there could be some possibilities here. So what we're wanting is the consultation to happen and the people to get around the table and sort things out. So do it once, do it right. So that's it. Sorry, that's the message on that one. Interesting, when you read the reports on the cycleway, the consultants' reports, safety is not really mentioned, and there's no sort of safety audits done on any of the intersections through the cycleway system. So that's something that it was brought to my attention, but I think it's something that we need to be aware of, that they've looked at the routes, but not necessarily the safety aspects of it. So please, I'm asking that we have the consultation and in these areas that that we've mentioned in our submission, and do it once and do it right. So other than that, we're all good with that. Rates, we congratulate the council on on the work that you've done on the options, and we support our submissions committee support the option 1, the 3.5. So we're sympathetic to the call of residents for lower rates and zero, but the reality of it is you've got to make some hard decisions. And so anyway, recognising the fact that people are struggling and knowing that, but our submissions committee are saying we're going to support option 1. The uniform annual charge, we don't agree with, our board, and think it should be scrapped, because it's a fee per property. So somebody that's got a property that's worth $1 million pays the same uniform annual charge as somebody that's got a property worth $350,000. So we think it's better off really if you just go on the value base of your property and do away with that uniform annual charge. Previous councils have looked at this over a number of years, and I think it's time that we actually look at scrapping it altogether. Well, I'm not saying that, that's what I think. This is what our submissions committee thinks. So that's something that we'd like consideration to be given to. The excess water use charges for households. Our board is opposed to that through the annual plan process. So that's quite a signal from the submissions committee that we're opposed to that. We think it's probably going to cost more to actually administer than it is to what you're getting revenue from. But anyway, education is a thing. And yeah, dob thy neighbour. If you see somebody going to work and they've got their sprinkler going on their front lawn or their back lawn all day and they turn it off when they come home at night, well, I think that's something that people should, all over the city, should take some responsibility and dob thy neighbour rather than have somebody running around the country, the city reading meters. So the Halswell summer pool, we were extended the hours, so we just want to, we haven't had a good feedback of the analysis of the usage of that yet, but what we're saying is please be a bit more flexible with swimming pool hours, and for the oncoming summer season. So you'll read that in the submission. The former Sockburn Service Centre site is an eyesore, and I know this council have been on to private owners of earthquake buildings within the CBD to say, hey, listen, get this building down, clean it up. But we, as a council, have got one sitting there at Sockburn that's an eyesore and a reminder of the earthquakes, and it's just boarded up and it just looks a mess. And please, please, please do something about it. The Upper Riccarton War Memorial Library is another one that's been fenced off and nothing's been happening about it, so that's something that our submissions committee felt that there should be some action on. There are some ideas around. The council own the land. It's been run by a trust. But anyway, it's sad when a war memorial has actually got to go, but we just don't want it sitting there year after year after year. Andrew and councillors. Halswell Junction Road extension, this is another one that our board have been constantly submitting on every annual plan to get this done. As you know, Halswell Junction Road starts in Pound Road now and ends in Halswell, but it's got this crazy little kink bit in the middle, and there's been money in the budget. The Waterloo Business Park offered $1 million as well to help fund that, but because it didn't progress in time, that we've lost that. But anyway, please take the stupid kink out of Halswell Junction Road so it can actually operate efficiently. So that's another plea, and we've been consistent about this, councillors, for year after year after year. It's just administrative hold-ups that's caused the problem, not the will of the council to actually council laws to fund it. That's always been there. It's just the way the process has been handled that's taken it so long, so we don't want it to drop off the radar. We do appreciate the boost of the Strengthening Communities Fund. We think that's really good, and we do make sure that that's spent wisely, because we do rely on all those community groups and organisations in our community and in our city to actually deliver a lot of services that if they weren't there doing it, and nobody was doing it, Christchurch wouldn't be the place it is. So we've really got to support those groups and organisations who mean so much. The volunteer hours that the people put into our city is, oh look, I'm running out of time. Stormwater retention detention systems. We've got some massive ones. When you have a look at the budget, it's huge. Please don't cut the budget for our stormwater retention detention systems. Central City parking charges, library charges we've got there, swimming pool fees, and sorry I've been rambling on a bit, but that's it from me.
So that does bring us to the end of the 10
Yes,
minutes.
it does.
I'm assuming that when we get your written submission, that will include all of the things that you've mentioned this morning.
Absolutely.
Thanks very much indeed for joining us, Mike. You unfortunately haven't left us any time for questions, and we look forward to receiving your written submission. Thank you.
Thank you very much, team.